One quick question to you. We have two separate candidates, but with identical profile. The same job offer, the same previous experience, the same age, but one of them will get the invitation to apply under the Ontario nominee program, but the other will not. If you want to see exactly why it's going to happen, stick with us. At the end of the video, you should be able to understand where you're going to be positioned in the expression of interest pool. Hello everyone, hope you're doing great today. My name is Ekaterina Andoni and I'm a licensed immigration consultant. Today we're going to discuss an important topic regarding the Ontario nominee program. Most likely you've already heard that Ontario finally launched the eligibility criteria not only for the applicant but confirmed what's required from the employer, plus announced the scoring factors and all of the details regarding who will qualify to enter the expression of interest to the pool and how the things are gonna go under the new unified stream called Ontario Workforce Priority Stream. So today we're gonna discuss exactly what changed. So previous criteria versus the new criteria, because technically it is very similar. However, there are a few important updates that might be critical in your application, so please be mindful of that. And next we're going to discuss who's going to win and who's going to lose, compare identical job offers and identical applicants, but one of them might be eligible to get an invitation to apply faster than the other, and which scoring factors determine that. In the end, we're gonna see, and I will tell you how exactly you would need to calculate your points if you have the support from your Ontario employer and you are eager to start your immigration journey and submit your expression of interest as soon as possible. So we're gonna start from the applicant requirements, what exactly changed and how it might concern you. So we need to take a look at the official website, go to applicant requirements. So technically, if you have a job offer from the Canadian employer who meets the criteria, just briefly about the employer. So the location of the employer matters. If it's inside GTA, they need to have at least 5 people on PR or Canadians working for them in that location where you exactly work. Plus they need to be in business for at least 3 years and they need to have a revenue of 1 million to qualify. For the employers outside of the GTA, they need to have $500,000 in revenue and they need to have 3 full-time employees who are Canadians or PR holders. So for the rural employers, the income criteria was lowered significantly. Now Ontario nominee program requires them to have $250,000 in revenue to qualify. So if you have the job offer from this so-called qualified employer, meaning that they meet all of the requirements that I mentioned based on their location, and they are ready to support you under the new nominee program, means that you are good to go. Because right now Ontario supports not only the high-skilled positions, meaning your occupation falls within tiers 0 to 3. Also, if you work under tier 4 or 5 occupation, you also can apply. Previously, these tier 4 and 5, which is called unskilled occupations, were limited to specific NOC codes that can be considered for the application. Right now, this has been removed. So technically, any occupation in tier 4 or 5, meaning that you have the job offer from the qualified employer, would be considered as good, and you should be able to proceed with your expression of interest if you have this kind of job offer. So no limits in that reference now. Let's move on to exactly who can qualify, right? In terms of the job offer, everything is straightforward and ready, right? It needs to be permanent, full-time, it needs to be for indefinite position, meaning that it's not restricted only for like half a year contract, a year contract. It needs to be like full support. In terms of you as the applicant, you either need to have been working for that employer who issued the job offer for you for at least 6 months, or you need to have 2 years of experience out of the last 5 within the same NOC code as your job offer. So this is the biggest change so far. Previously, under the most common Ontario nominee program stream, the job offer stream, you previously had to have 2 years of experience either with this employer or with your previous employer, but within the same NOC code, and it was very challenging for a lot of candidates, right? Because 2 years of experience is quite a lot. Right now, what they say, you need to have at least 6 months of consecutive full-time paid work experience within the last 12 months before the day you make your application, and you would be eligible. So you don't need to wait 2 years to qualify. You need to have at least 6 months. Or if you just started working with this employer, they still would say, like, if you have 2 years of cumulative paid full-time work experience in the same NOC code, you still within the last 5, that's the most important thing, before the day you make your application, you still would qualify. So they just broadened the eligibility criteria for more applicants right now. Good news for Ontario graduate student as well. Previously, there was a specific stream designed for the recent graduates. Right now, no. Everything is done within one and the same system. So if you graduated recently, you need to have at least 3 months of work experience with this employer who offered you the position within the last 12 months before you apply to be eligible to do so. So this is also perfectly fine, because the recent graduates, the meaning recent, it's now like you need to graduate within the last 3 years, not a few months, not a year, not 2, but they allow 3 years time since the time you graduate to be still considered a recent graduate. This is an important thing. Of course, if your position requires you to have a licensing in Canada without which you cannot practice, for sure they want you to have already obtained the license to be able to practice and to enter, to submit your expression of interest. Yeah, like they specifically mention it here. We knew it previously as well, but they just mention it once again, right? So you needed Ontario licensing or to be licensed under the federal law to work in the job offer employment position. It needs to be available already, right? It's not that you're scheduled your exam, you're planning to have a license. Like, to qualify, you need to already have this licensing approved and available to you. An important note for the recent graduates, right now, like, you're considered graduate if you finished your studies within the last 3 years, but what you need to know, not every single graduate would be able to apply, because it needs to be a post-secondary degree or diploma that took you at least 2 years to complete on a full-time basis. That's an important note to think of when you apply. You need to have either master's degree or PhD or hold an Ontario College graduate certificate. This is an important thing. Just make sure you are authorized to do so before you apply. Moving on to another good change that happened regarding if you are taking the pathway of claiming 2 years of experience out of the last 5 to qualify. What now is allowed? So previously you needed to have the experience in the same NOC code. So you needed to have been working previously under the same title, the same NOC code. Everything should have been the same to claim this experience. Right now, what major change happened is that if your NOC occupation, right, comes under this submajor group 213, meaning it's professional occupations in engineering, and you have a job offer from your employer in the NOC code under major group 223, right, technical occupations related to engineering, you can claim both. So in simple terms, now it doesn't need to be like exact same NOC code. They allow you to be working in similar fields and still claim this work experience towards the eligibility. So about the technical occupations and engineering I mentioned, also it affects pharmacists and pharmacy technical assistants, because that was an important thing. Like a lot of, for example, a lot of our clients who work as pharmacy assistants, it might be relevant to them because they might be eligible for express entry draws, so they were gaining this experience. Now, good thing for you guys, like you can claim this, similar NOC codes to qualify. The same with nurses, with licensed practical nurses and nurse aide. So again, these two NOC codes can be working, let's say, together to help you with the eligibility criteria. This is great, I would say. These were the major changes for occupations within Tier 0 to 3. Now moving on to job offers and for applicants who are applying under Tier 4 and 5. As I mentioned before, any specific occupations under these tiers can qualify, so there is no restriction. The only thing that Ontario wants you to have is to be working for that employer for at least 9 months in a row. right? And you need to gain this experience within the 2 years before your application is submitted. So this is how the confusion can be. So for previous eligibility criteria that we discussed, for tiers 0 to 3, it needs to be at least 6 months within the last 12 months. Right here, we need for tier 4 and 5, we need 9 months over the 2-year period, which can be a very good option for the applicants who might have, started gaining the experience a bit before. Now we can move on to the language requirement, which is now mandatory for all of the applicants. So the level of the language that you need to obtain is determined by your job offer, by the position in the job offer, to be exact. So if you have a job offer for a tier 0 to 3, you need to have at least CLB 6 in each part of the test. Not in total, you need to have CLB 6 at least, right, or higher, of course. Specifically in listening, specifically in writing, reading, speaking. So it's not overall score, it needs to be CLB 6 in each part of the test, which is very important. CLB 5 is required only for the trade occupations. You can see which exactly skilled trade occupations are included. So if you fall within, let's say, major group 73 general trades, you need to make sure you have at least CLB 5 in each part of the test. All of the rest of the people need to have at least CLB 6. Good news for our highly educated people graduated from an eligible Ontario institution within the last 3 years. If you hold one of the approved credential, like PhD degree, master's degree, Ontario College graduate certificate, or any post-secondary degree that took you at least 2 years to complete, it means that you know English good enough, so OINP now believes in you and they do not require you to take an additional test. So your diploma or degree would be a confirmation that you passed your English test. So there is no need to do a separate test in addition. They specifically say it now that a language test is not required if you hold one of the listed credentials. So good news for you guys. Moving on to our candidates who apply under tier 4 and 5. For you guys, the eligibility criteria under the test result is CLB 4 in each part of the test. So it's lower than any skilled occupation, but still it is not removed. So you would need to pass the test for CLB level 4 or higher, of course. If you were wondering about the test, exactly like which test is considered a good one to take for the OINP application, nothing has changed here. They still accept both English and French test results. For French, it's TEF or TCF. For English, it's still IELTS, CELPIP, or PTE core. So nothing, like there is no restriction on which test you would be taking to be considered under the stream. Important update on the education, guys. If you might recall previously, before the change, your education was not scored for some of the streams under the previous criteria. Right now, Ontario made it mandatory to have your education completed in Canada or have its equivalent from back home confirmed with the valid ECA report. But the level of the education completed varies by the job offer. So if you have a job offer for tier category 0 to 3, you need to have at least one of the following, how they mention it here: a post-secondary degree diploma that takes at least 1 year to complete on a full-time basis from either an eligible Canadian institution if you studied here, all good then, or you need to have a valid ECA report if you completed this type of education back home. So at least 1 year post-secondary studies for all of the high-skilled occupations, except for skilled trades. They made an exemption here. I do understand why it happened, because people working in the trades, if you check the NOC codes, if you check the employment requirements, most of them does not require a tradesperson to actually have a higher education. So since NOC code itself does not impose on you specific like academic requirement, Ontario nominee program might not also ask for it, because it does not really reflect the industry how it operates, right? So specifically for skilled trades, They ask for a high school diploma just to match with the NOC code requirements. If you work in a skilled trade, usually you just need a secondary degree diploma, and basically like that's it. Not every single trade person needs to go to college, to obtain any academic qualification to practice the trade. So they made it fair. I would say it's very fair for the candidates. So if you work in trades, at least you need to have Canadian high school diploma or its equivalent, from back home if you studied abroad. Again, for the nurse aides, right, they want you, or here they say specifically about the transport truck drivers, bus drivers, like they want you to have an eligible licensing, for you to practice your position. Also, it's obvious you cannot practice without a valid licensing, so they just place an emphasis on that. As for the requirement for Tier 4 and 5 position, you just need a high school diploma either in Canada or abroad. Also, it's mandatory, and once again, if you studied overseas, you need to have your valid ECA report. So if you're planning to apply into this new stream and you don't have your diploma assessed, do it right now, because usually it takes around a month or so to do. Of course, depending on how you do this process, but you need to start as soon as possible to be ready with the ECA report as soon as the program launches the official expression of interest submission. Now we can move on to the most important thing, the scoring factors and how many points are awarded for each criteria. So you can calculate yourself, you can understand like where you stand in terms of points to have any projections to plan ahead. So we check everything. Please guys, it's very important you check everything on the official Ontario nominee program website, right? I know a lot of platforms are offering the structured version, the shortened version. I encourage you, because there might be mistakes, to check everything from the official sources. So we just go here to strictly to the scoring factors. Basically, the system would be the same, like operating in the same way how it used to be previously. Everything will start from your employer. So your employer would need to issue the job offer from their portal, and you just accept it from your end. And the points are back. It means that, as I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, you might have the same job offer, the same duties, the same wage, the same everything, and you might have the same background, but with these updated scoring factors, you might be a winner, and you might have a chance to get invitation to apply faster than the same candidate who scores differently. So here we check straight the tier category. Of course, it was obvious. For the high skilled positions, they will give you more points. So points are ranging from 9 to 0. Unskilled positions score 0 here. High management occupations, tier 0 and 1 scored the highest, 9 points. They also give you points for your specific NOC broad occupation category, right? So you need to check whether it falls under category 3, category 7, category 2, 0 to 9. The points are different. They will be on the screen. So you determine this exactly by your NOC code. So you just add, first of all, you add points for tier, you add points for the occupational category, and then moving to the hourly wage. You know that your employer, to be eligible to register the offer of employment, the employer needs to agree to offer you the median wage for this occupation within the area where the employer is operating. However, if they are able to offer you the higher hourly wage, it means that your profile would be more competitive, because the median wage might suggest, $33 per hour, which awards you 10 points. But if, they value you, they want to support you, and they are agreeing to pay you more, increasing the salary for, let's say, at least $35 per hour, your profile would get these 2 additional points, because for that range, 12 points are awarded. So you see how that goes. They always were awarding points based on the job offer and the salary specifically. Right now it's just more broadened, so you have more chances to get more points, I would say, like this. Another important catch that you need to be aware of, guys, even though you need 6 months, let's say, right, you apply under tier 0 to 3, you need only 6 months of experience with this employer to qualify. You go through that route. Still, Ontario awards you more points if you stay longer. right? If you work not only for 6 to 12 months, but you work for like 24 months or over 24 months. If you see here, if you work less than 6 months, you get 0 points. Up to a year, you get 12 points, but 2 years, they give you more points. They give you like 18 points. So you see, even though you qualified to submit your expression of interest, in the same way, these, two profiles that we are comparing, if you stay longer and work for longer, you're more competitive. In the event where you go through a different route, you don't have at least 6 months of working experience for that specific employer, you go through the route where you have 2 years out of the last 5, to meet the eligibility criteria. OINP applies now a different scoring grid. They value if you were working in Ontario during this time, maybe for another employer, or you have not worked in Ontario at all. So, for example, to meet these, 2 years experience, if you worked in Ontario for at least, like 13 to 24 months, you get 9 points. If only partial time of this experience is in Ontario, you only get like 6 points. You would be able to see and qualify. So even if you have not yet, worked enough for your employer, you still might get additional points if you've been in Ontario, because they want you to stay longer in the province, to have, let's say, more strengthened relationship with the province. To go to the same basically idea of valuing and favoring people who are already living in Ontario for quite a while and having a valid status, valid work permit, study permit, it gives you additional points. Study permit gives you only 5 points, which in the end, if you apply for the work permit afterwards, you know that you're going to get boosted by another 5 points, bringing your total to 10. If you don't have a legal status in Canada, because they did not say that only residents of Ontario can qualify. You can be overseas as well, but you see, like, these overseas candidates would be at a less priority, I would say, because they would lose all of the points here. Without a valid study or work permit, the profile gets 0 in this criteria. Also strengthening the ties to being in the province and being in Canada in general, and paying taxes, staying here for quite a while. You also get benefit for that based on the earning history. So if you get, based on your notice of assessment, if you got at least 30,000 in income up to 50,000, you get 4 points, and it gradually increases up to 70 plus K, right? So previously this points grid was more narrow. Right now it gives even more flexibility here, which is very good. The same as we expected, since they ask you to have at least high school diploma or more, depending on your position, they award now points for your education. So the highest level of your education now matters, because it gives you significantly more points. If you have even the apprenticeship diploma, it counts for 5 points. If you have a bachelor degree, you get 6 points. Master's gives you 8 points, and PhD gives you 10 points. So you see, if previously it was not scored, like you cannot get any benefit from your education for these old streams, right now your educational diploma matters and gives you more value, like adds more value towards your profile. Since now not only education is mandatory, but English or French test results are also mandatory, in this case we expect 4 points for that as well. So the points are pretty good. So if you score at least CLB 6, you get 4 points. If you score at least CLB 8, you get 12 points. So this is very important, guys. Like, if your stream requires you to have at least CLB 6, if you can improve your test results, if you can score more, CLB 7, CLB 8, CLB 9, or maximum, you see, this gives you more points towards the profile, meaning that you would be positioned better. The same way how we examined, both identical job offers. If you can score better, if your test results are brilliant, it means that in between, if we check who's gonna win between these two candidates with identical age and job offer and everything else, you would still be at favor, right? Because you get more points for the fact that you passed your English or French test better. If you can do both, that's even more awesome, because for 2 official languages on file, you get 10 points. Right, so you can see, like, it's kind of hard to get an additional degree to score more, but to invest and to study a bit harder to improve your English or French test results, it's not that significant. Like, it doesn't require you, to leave everything and to go back to school for more points. You can study a bit harder and get better test results to increase your points significantly. So this is very important. I encourage you to think about retaking your test and have always valid results. Now to the final part of the location of your employer. In this case, if your location is in Northern Ontario, you get maximum points possible, 15 points. If your location is in Toronto, unfortunately, 0 points. They broaden a bit the criteria, so they give like inside GTA, at least some points, at least 5 points we have. I have a lot of applicants, candidates who were worried if GTA now will get at least some points. Be assured that at least 5 points you're gonna get. Southwestern Ontario gets 10 points, the same as Central Ontario outside the GTA, and Eastern Ontario, and the absolute favorite, is Northern Ontario, 15 points. So in this case, just checking how many points are awarded for everything, you should be able to check where you are positioned. And for example, you cannot change the location of your employer, right? If they are inside the GTA, you cannot physically, move your office somewhere to qualify better. But as I mentioned previously, there are ways for you to improve the score. Either work harder to get a better salary, to get more points based on the wages, and improve your English or French test results. If you already maxed out your English or French, focus on the other language. And because as for both languages, you get additional points. And we've encountered that previously, that every point counts in Ontario nominee program, since they launched basically the same kind of structure, point-based system. It means that they will consider favoring the highest ranking candidates. To me, the best change so far is the fact that finally Ontario nominee program allows you to use your approved nomination towards points for your express entry profile. I'm very grateful for this change, because now they specifically say that if you have your job offer within the tier 0 to 3 and you wish your approved nomination to give you 600 points towards your valid express entry profile, they would happily do so. You would just need to be specifically including this information and the express entry profile numbers in your application, and you would need to inform the OINP that you want them to link your nomination towards express entry. This would mean that you would, after the nomination is approved, that you would save, I would say, close to a year in processing time of your PR, because everybody knows if you apply through express entry, it's not longer than non-express entry, because that's how the system operates. That's why it's called express, because it's the fastest. So if you were around when it was not previously allowed, you were stuck with the OINP, you needed to submit your application the other way around, and it was taking close to double the time of express entry processing. So right now, this is a very exciting part, that they will finally do so. So you guys would be able to wait for, with these 600 points, it means that next draw will be yours, and it's like an instant invitation to apply almost, and you would benefit from processing of your application way faster on the federal level. So now going back to what we started with, two basically the same profiles, meaning that the same conditions of the job offer, and still one would win and the other would need to wait for longer to get their invitation to apply, because everything is based on this scoring system. The job offer itself is not it does not determine whether you're going to be successful or not. You need to kind of work and build your profile towards success, because you see, the scores are the same for basically identical job offers, but the location of the employer matters. You get more points if your employer is not located in Toronto or GTA, right? One criteria. You get more points if your education is higher and like you get, let's say, master's degree or PhD in comparison to the other people who have only, let's say, bachelor or college level diploma. You get more points if you get two certificates, I mean English and French, or if your at least one test results is like brilliant, and if you've lived and worked in Ontario for longer. So all of these things matter, and even though maybe with your neighbor you have the same job offer, the same things, you still can build your profile towards success if you know what to focus on. So on the official website, there is no built-in calculator for you to easily calculate the points. However, if you check the scoring factors, you would be able to understand how many points you get and just calculate them yourself. For example, you know that your position is tier 2, it means that you count 6 points for that. You know your hourly wage, for example, it's like $30 per hour, so you put 10 points under these criteria. So you basically scroll one by one and do your math. They don't have the built-in calculator. Hopefully one day they will do something that's going to be more user-friendly for the applicants. Right now, it is what it is. As of now, there is no update on when the expression of interest portal will work. They say sometime in August they will launch it, so stay tuned for that. The strategic advantage would have only the applicants who prepare everything in advance, because you need to have everything ready at the time when you submit your expression of interest, right? Because you need your English or French test results to be already ready, confirmed, because I suspect you would need to input all of the data from your certificate directly into the portal. As for the steps, how to prepare, make sure your employer qualifies, make sure the employer really wants to support you, just give them a heads up, because there will be the need for them to initiate the process and issue the job offer on the portal for you. From your end, do your ECA report in advance, prepare your diplomas, academic transcript, pass your English or French test, have your job offer ready just in case you want to calculate your points in advance and know exactly how well you're going to be positioned. I hope this video was helpful for you guys and you got to know the focus areas for you to improve, to work on. Stay tuned for more information on the Ontario nominee program. We'll know exactly when the expression of interest portal will work. I will let you know how things are there. We'll be waiting for the draws. If you have more questions that you would want us to cover, please drop them in the comments. We're gonna read and reply. So stay tuned for new videos, and I hope you have a good week ahead.